problems. Good. Everyone knows what JPEG is, but just in case you somehow missed the memo, it is an image format that's been around for about 30 years. It's normally a lossy format, meaning that images saved in this way lose a bit of their quality, but their file sizes are much smaller, making it more convenient to share and to store files in the JPEG format than in lossless and much bigger formats like PNG and bitmap. JPEG saves file sizes by dropping the quality of the image where it thinks it won't be noticed. This isn't JPEG's fault, and you can customize how much you want it to compress the image by, but this has unfortunately worked against its reputation, and these days, JPEG is used as an insult when an image looks low in quality or has been overly compressed too many times. But we have a lot to thank JPEG for it's been widely supported, is easy to run, and has generally been good enough to serve our image needs for decades. But it risks being killed off. Thanks to advancements in hardware power and improved compression algorithms and all that exciting stuff, we can now get images that are both smaller in file size and higher in quality than JPEG is. There are superior, newer, and even newer types of, newer standards than JPEG like WebP and HEIC, and even newer types of JPEG like JPEG LS, JPEG 2000, JPEG XR, and most recently JPEG XL. And that's the exciting one. And it would make for a very sensible new standard for everyone to use instead of the original JPEG, because it behaves like JPEG, it smells like JPEG, tastes like JPEG, and is better at compressing images. Also, it remains backwards compatible, which is incredibly handy. For instance, you can get all of your old, low-quality JPEG images, and rather than have to encode them again into a new standard and lose even more quality, you can simply make them into JPEG XLs, and it will make them slightly smaller in file size whilst losing none of the quality. How cool is that? For a video about image formats, it's kind of exciting. It's safe to say that JPEG XL is the sensible new standard that we should all be moving to. But we're not. For AVIF is here to ruin JPEG's day, and in a way this video that you're watching right now is part of the problem. For videos on YouTube are gradually being moved over to the new AV1 video format, which is very good. The videos in this format are high in quality and small in file size, so it makes sense that since videos are essentially a bunch of images, we can get whatever's making these videos so good and use them to make really good images as well, right? And that's what the AVIF image format is. It's the image bit of the AV1 video standard. This makes its requirements slightly different to JPEG. Whereas JPEG attempts to strike a please don't stand on my computer. Oh, she's adorable. Put it simply, AVIF's party trick is to deliver the absolute best image compression, resulting in the tiniest file sizes possible. So if that's your jam, then you should support AVIF over JPEG XL. However, JPEG XL wins in virtually every other way, and according to some sources online, it's even better than AVIF is at compressing images. Although that's not really what I saw in my tests, but okay, whatever. And while AVIF is just the image bit of a very clever video standard, JPEG XL is a full-blown image format. And that matters more than you might expect. For instance, AVIF maxes out at 12 bits per color channel and 8K resolution. It can go beyond that, but then it begins to tile images together, which could result in distracting joints between each tile due to compression. Meanwhile, JPEG XL supports up to 32 bits per color channel and a resolution support that's so great it may as well be infinite. It's very much a standard built for the future, while AVIF seems optimized for today's use cases, which is fine for 99.9% of people and situations, but it is a bit worrying it's already neglecting that remaining 0.1%. JPEG XL isn't just more future-proof, it's also a lot more functional over the internet. It's currently easier for computers to create these images and to view them back again, meaning lower hardware requirements and less power being used to view JPEG XL images compared with AVIF ones. Although as hardware progresses, this difference will matter less and less. JPEG XL also supports a handy feature called progressive decoding. Before you can view an AVIF image online, it has to load the entire thing, but JPEG XL can display a low quality version of the whole image after just 15% of the image is loaded, and then it can gradually fill in the rest with more details as and when they're loaded in. And it can even prioritize the most important bits of the image to load in high quality first. It's witchcraft! This makes it very suitable for web browsing and for when you're scrolling through pages quickly and just need placeholder images rather than blank sections. And this is especially useful on lower speed internet connections. So you'd think it would be a no-brainer for the world to move over to JPEG XL. And yet, the internet has seemingly spoken. and it's decided it wants AVIF instead. And by the internet I mean Google, whose Chrome browser dropped support for JPEG XL back in February 2023. And as you might know, since most browsers are based on Chromium, it doesn't bode well for JPEG XL support. All this makes this particular study all the more interesting, since it's the one place on the internet that seems to heavily favour AVIF over JPEG XL. It appears to have been done by the AVIF team, it's based on sample sizes of 24 and 48 images, and it comes to the conclusion again and again that AVIF is superior to JPEG XL. It shows that it's faster at creating images, faster to display them, and that AVIF delivers superior image quality at the same file size. Which seems to go against everything else I've read about it online. It even shows progressive decoder slowing down the decode performance of JPEG XL, which I thought was interesting given that clearly the benefits of progressive decode outweigh any of these negatives that are seen in these charts. The only thing this study shows JPEG XL beating AVIF at is in compressing lossless images, which isn't exactly something that the internet prioritizes. So I'm not saying that this is the study that killed JPEG XL support in Chrome, I'm just saying it's pretty much the only available resource that could justify why it was killed, and it was published just 2 months before support for it was dropped in Chrome. But don't worry, there's always Firefox, although even they have remained quiet about JPEG XL, wanting to remain neutral on this topic. Apple's all for it though, with their Safari browser supporting both AVIF and the JPEG XL standards. And Microsoft are gradually rolling out support for JPEG XL in their operating systems as well, though it's so difficult to use either of them in Windows 11 just yet that I'm not going to give the win to either of them. And I should know, because I've tried it already. A year ago, I settled on AVIF as being the standard I'd dabble with, simply because it compresses so damn well. You see, my parents have over 90,000 pictures, and it's reaching the point where the whole backup is filling up their tiny little hard drives, and it's becoming difficult for them to create new backups from and to share them all on USB sticks and stuff. So for fun, I converted all 90,000 of their pictures to AVIF, and I got over 400 gigabytes of JPEGs down to roughly 100 gigabytes in AVIF files, with minimal drop in quality. You lose the grain, but I don't always see that as a bad thing. I also messed around with HDR images and was quite happy with the quality of a 1MB 4K image. So while I agree that AVIF is a horribly flawed and limited and half-baked image format, if it's for anyone then it's probably for someone like me. However, the sheer lack of support for the image file, the broken thumbnails, how broken HDR itself is in Windows, and knowing just how many problems it would cause for the people I'd be sharing these AVIF images with for the years to come, I think it's going to be many years before either new format is going to be ready to replace good old JPEG. But it does look like we're heading towards a future where AVIF is the standard online, just because the images will be the smallest file sizes, and because Google's pushing for it, while JPEG XL will be the standard for anybody serious about image quality to stick to, because it's so much more robust and future-proof. Tell you what, someone should create an even newer, even better standard to unite all these formats once more.